The end.
Okay.
Okay. So now for also reviewing time.
That was pretty good.
I think that this one was my favorite one so far.
Yeah. I have to admit I'm actually a little partial to Freeze Flame, which is weird because we were kind of hard on it. But
no, I like this one better than Freeze Flame.
Yeah, of all of these thus far, it's the only one I've seen which actually I guess except for Freeze Flame, but like of all of these incompletes, this one actually picked a reasonable point to end. Like, well, I guess.
What do you mean besides Freeze Flame?
Freeze Flame
was a full trial.
It was technically complete. So
that doesn't make sense.
But
with this one, I really liked it. I thought that
setup was good.
It had good setup. Didn't have anything to do with ice, but did have fire in it.
Yeah.
So you have to give them that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
think that really the only thing I didn't like too much about it is that they didn't really play up the fire part of it. I mean, they said, yes, that he was burned, and it was kind of mysterious why he was burned in that exact way. But at the same time, it wasn't really, like, outwardly said. So, well, it wasn't not outwardly said, it was just not, like...
incredibly important?
Yeah, well, it was important, but at the same time, it wasn't as important as it was with, like, other cases that we've seen.
It does seem like the axe was far more important than the fire.
Yeah. Actually, I wanted to know more about the axe.
Yeah, I'm going to say, like, if you cut someone to pieces with an axe, they're going to be, and then set them on fire. They're dead already, so that's not really burning alive.
The problem was that they didn't know whether they were burned first and then chopped up, or if they died, then they were chopped up, then they were put in the fire.
If they had to be like stuffed in the fireplace, then
so it's probably
they had to be cut up in order to be stuffed.
It was they just didn't know if they had died, then they were cut up, then they were put in the fireplace, or if they were still alive, but then they had been cut up and then put in the they didn't know exactly when the person had died.
So it was kind of like with BBs where we weren't sure in what order was the stabbing and the firing. Like
in that one I think it was more if they just weren't being clear which one happened, and in this one they actually said we don't know because
it's hard to tell.
It's hard to tell when you have
the police can't magically tell everything that happens.
Yeah, because even if there were bones still in there, you can't really tell just from the bones. But anyway, so I guess we should go down the list.
Story.
I like the story.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Emma being the defendant because I've never seen Emma.
For once, it is not Larry or Phoenix. I guess let's hear. We've had Larry, Phoenix, Raymond Hope, who's apparently a prosecutor from something we should know, I guess, and Emma. So
it's nice to see Emma because like I said,
that hasn't really been brought up.
So I think the story is kind of cool, and if you think about it, she does kind of have a motive too, because you could say she was angry at him for not letting her get the gun. I mean, it's harsh.
Yeah, the one problem with that is that this is clearly a slow, premeditated thing with the slow acting drugs and so forth. Well,
an axe. You can't really go there's an axe on the wall. I'm going to use it.
Yeah, well, if they're actually the axe thing would make it seem more like a crime of anger. But here's something I just realized: how do they know if the victim was drugged or not if they can't tell anything from the ashes?
Maybe
it's an assumption they're making because there were two bowls, both of which were drugged.
Yeah, maybe it's just an assumption.
But
little black hole.
I get. Well, I'm just going to point out that Emma's motive seems to be the type that would lead to a crime of anger, while this was clearly a very well planned out thing. And also just in general, a forensic specialist or someone who wants to be a forensic specialist would be very careful about stuff. But, okay, I guess...
She didn't really leave fingerprints or anything behind.
Yeah,
so there's that.
She merely left herself unconscious, holding than
Whatever.
drugs.
Whatever. Okay.
Anyway,
so what's the
okay,
next one?
story originality.
Originality.
This is pretty original.
That's pretty original. I would have to say that the whole
Selden.
Yeah. Okay, the Selden Eldon thing was awesome. I really liked that. Same thing with the dog that was there. That was funny too.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Geek was Cyan's Geek. A little weird. I guess it was okay.
It was okay, but he wasn't my favorite.
The statue like fetch quest thing, unless it becomes really important somewhere.
Well, he may. I mean, he was the assistant to this guy.
Yeah.
And if he was blackmailing people, then there's a chance that Cyan knew about
at this point, Geek is probably the most likely one we've seen
to be the murderer.
Well, to be the blackmail. Although I guess actually Seldoon was hiding something, and it would be his noodles.
Yes, I'm going to blackmail you to get your noodles, and then he comes in revenge and kills everyone.
Well, no, I was saying they were his noodles, so obviously he would be the person who would be able to drug it easiest. I guess mainly, unless it's somehow really important that Emma defeated Cyan's Geek. A massive brain.
Well, I think it was more of kind of... It was a little weird with the trophy and everything, but at the same time, I think it kind of built up his character a bit, kind of just...
like he's a little petty,
and...
He's still mad about this years after it actually happened.
And that sort of thing, and so you...
Just because I killed the dog...
The dean's dog doesn't...
Yeah.
There are sacrifices needed to be done.
I really wanted a Portal reference there. B, I was really expecting when... Anyway, like, with the finger she... Well, first, another minor plot hole. How exactly did Emma get this statue from like her college days in jail? But
she could have bought it with her.
More importantly, I was hoping that like when she's like, "Here, take the thinker." At least one person, probably either Trucy or Apollo would. Probably Trucy actually would assume logically what you do with statues of the thinker.
But she doesn't.
Ace Attorney.
But they haven't experienced the thinker. That was all Phoenix. It was never Apollo.
Yeah. Well, I get. I think they both pretty much know about Phoenix's cases, but anyway.
Next part.
Or at least, Trucy seems like the type of person who would miss it.
Next part.
Okay.
Also, you mumbled off the end of your sentence and did not complete it. But anyway,
whatever.
Next part.
Characterization.
Characterization. Yeah, I thought that the characters were pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to say?
This empire used, scientifically speaking, much less than Enigma's.
I don't think he ever really did science.
Yeah.
Said that.
Well, you sped run through all of her.
I didn't. Oh. If I was
like
going too fast, you could have told me because that's the speed that I usually go when I'm playing it by myself, like an Ace Attorney game. That's usually about the speed.
Oh, I guess I was saying like when you present it was mainly like when you present something. We missed her little rant, but I did kind of like how angry Emma was because it does kind of fit. It's like, how are you? And it's like,
well, let me list all the awful things that have happened to me recently. I think Emma was the best in terms of characterization, and then I would have to say...
Seldoon.
Yeah. I like Seldoon. Seldoon was awesome. I think the worst again was Cyan. I didn't...
Yeah.
He was just kind of weird. I mean,
and Gumshoe... I feel like he was like half accurate Gumshoe and half like weird.
Well, the thing is that Apollo hasn't met Gumshoe at all. So they're just not...
Trucy's like, oh, let's mix these dangerous-looking chemicals together and drink it. Which, A, that's not what you do at a crime scene, and B, that's really not what you do in science. Unless you work at Aperture.
This is Trucy we're talking about. So what's the next one?
Theme relevance.
Theme relevance.
Horror-ish. Like...
Yeah, it was actually weird because all the other ones have fire and ice, and this one just had fire.
Yes, and I guess the fire wasn't really prominent. The axe was much more important than
I think that
the fire.
You could have played the fire part up a little bit more. And really, that's
It might
all
be
I
later
can
on,
think.
like
Maybe there is something later
there's
on,
probably
like with the
some.
actual.
Yeah, but it almost comes like the only reason the person would go to the trouble of chomping up the victim's body and throwing him in the fireplace would be so that they could have fire in the as a part
Yeah,
of
I
the
can
murder.
see that.
And then last one, the
What is last?
not form presentation.
Presentation. I thought the
I
presentation.
forgot the
good.
word.
This was actually
Yeah.
the first case where we did not have a game breaking glitch in it.
Yes, so now we're only 4 for 4.
Yep.
But I suppose there was one thing like when you need to examine this very small space in
Yeah, that
the
could have been
victim's
handled a little better.
Yeah, it's like, I wonder what that letter is or something. Or in the very least, cover the entire piece of paper instead of just a little tack at the top.
Yeah, because we had to actually go to the walkthrough and see what in the world we had to do.
And then we had to examine that area several times.
Yeah, so just
maybe
make that
like
a little
connect
bit.
that to when she tries and
yeah. Say like, oh, what is this?
With the don't drink that, smack, and then he's like, aw, hey, what's that? Because the vials and strange liquids are something which most people would look at.
But anyway, so overall,
this was pretty good.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah.
I know that you still like Freeze Flame, but I think that this one was much better.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean this one seems like one that I would actually see in an Ace Attorney game.
Yeah. It did seem pretty professional, but at the same time they didn't use like 3 frames for every sentence. Like one certain other trial.
Yeah, we'll get to that one later. We still have not finished BBs, but
we will next, hopefully.
Yeah, so we only have an hour and
45 minutes, and we've been on this one an hour. So I guess we're gonna
actually longer than that. But anyway, that can.
Timer says hour.
Oh well, this case I thought you meant the other one,
Yeah.
but whatever. We will discuss it later.
So
so overall, I like this case the best.
Yeah.
You like Freeze Flame a little bit better, and
just mainly because of the theme relevance.
Yeah, I think that
and Edgeworth.
I think.
Although he didn't do anything, so.
You just have a thing for Edgeworth, I guess.
Because Edgeworth is awesome.
Yeah. So So basically, I think that if this one just had more theme relevance, it would be much higher.
Yeah, but, if there was better theme relevance, then
but with
I would barely be contesting.
I think every other category is like
very good.
Yeah, or basically spotless. It's just the matter of the theme relevance, and if
Sildon. I'm going to keep saying that until it stops being funny.
It was anyway. So I think this is a good time to spot. So really good could use more fire and ice in it.
Yeah, I'm CLC Man.
And I'm the White Wolfess.
Opaque.
Are we going to go through this everything?
Yes.
Fine.
Just do the last 2.
I am Pixel.
Judge Pixel, Your Honor.
And I am Prosecutor Brain.